Right. Hello and welcome to the Zonal Weakness for Game Week 3, brought to you by Ghana Football Fantasy, powered by Fantasy Football Scout. And of course, a familiar face is on the other side of the screen here. And I can see you. Welcome, Bethany. Good to see you after 3 months, I think, right?
Yeah, it's been a crazy long time, but it's definitely good to be back.
Yeah. So how's things going with FPL?
I was going to say it's good to be back, even if the scores don't reflect it. Yeah, not the best of starts, to be honest. I started game week 1 with 9 million. Then I've managed to have a bit of a rank rise this time, up to the lofty heights of 6.8 million. But I have pressed the wildcard button to try and fix things because I have 2 injured players. I've got Palmer, I've got Saka, who are both very expensive to be injured. And then I started the season with triple Aston Villa and triple West Ham because they both had nice fixtures and they both did really well in pre-season. And both of them seem to be fighting for relegation currently. So yeah, press the wildcard button. Feeling very happy with that, actually. So yeah, how about you?
Well, I don't know. A terrible start, to be honest, because I wanted to start with Haaland and Salah, then decided not to because I thought Palmer was doing good. So I got Palmer in and I didn't take Haaland. I went with Salah only. But then I completely found Palmer to be completely invisible in the first game week. So I thought, like, okay, no, I'm done. Thank you very much. Just wanted to move quickly and, stay ahead of the curve. Removed Palmer, got in Haaland, took a -4 or -8, I think. And then, yeah, that's it. I was very lucky to have Palmer removed before the news came out for the Chelsea thing that he's injured. And then I made Haaland the captain in the second game week. But yeah, he said, Gandhi is right anyway. So I made a mistake again, despite being seasoned FPL manager, let's just call it, for having so many years of experience of playing FPL, and you still go around not listening to Gandhi. I think that's the terrible mistake. So yeah, I'm currently at about 8.4 million, I think. So I'm struggling a little bit. Might turn out to be a long uphill come, but it's okay.
I think we're not alone down there, I think, and the ranks are so close at the moment. It can change so quickly. So yeah, I think get the players right and feel comfortable with your players is the most important thing right now. Don't worry so much about rank, but worry about whether you think your players are good going forward.
No, that's true. I mean, I'm not really worried about it, to be honest, because I think it's so close now. 1-2 game weeks, you have good score, and that's it. You are back into the competition again. But what I'm really worried about is how I'm really planning to shape my team, and it's becoming a bit of a challenge, but at the same time, yeah, trying to adjust and manage. I think that's where the challenge is. But anyway, it's good that we are back with the zonal. Last week we did the zonal, I did it myself, and this week I'm glad to have you. And this is your 3rd season that you're doing, so congratulations on that. And so let's get started with the zonal. Yeah. Here we are, and this is the Zonal Weakness for Game Week 3. And of course, if you haven't liked and followed or subscribed to our YouTube channel or on X and on Facebook, please do so, because we are producing regular content everywhere, and you'll find it. Might not have the maximum views or huge amount of views, but you guys are the ones who can support and take it forward. Last year, I think we got quite a good response from the audience in terms of the Zonal Weakness video that we are kind of releasing every week. So that's good. I hope it just goes higher this week or this season, to be honest. And all the data that you see, including the zonal data, are taken from the Fantasy Football Scout members area. Ghana Football is happy and proud to be part of the Fantasy Football Scout network. Yeah, so if you're interested in buying the membership, please do click in the link in the description below and you would get a discount. So yeah, don't wait. There's loads of data, including the DEFCON data, but also the zonal data. Moving on, and I think this is it. Yeah, here we are. Over to you, Bethany, with the slide 1 for Game Week 3. What do you think?
Okay, so starting off, we've got Manchester City, who play Brighton. And yeah, not really anybody standing out there. Haaland ranked 17th for chances conceded down centre. For example, Reinders ranked 20th down the left flank. So the 2 players that are standing out from the zonal are Marmoush and Doku. But for me personally, I wouldn't be going there. I think they're 2 of the players their minutes are very unpredictable. So maybe if you're on a free hit or something, that might be okay, but otherwise I'd probably be giving them a miss. Then we've got Manchester United, and I feel like a broken record because I spent the whole of last season saying don't go near Manchester United, and I was really excited. I really thought things were going to change. I thought Mbeumo and Kuna were exciting, and then they go and lose to Grimsby Town last night, and yeah, I just don't know. So again, I think free hit, fine. If you've already got Manchester United players, fine. But I wouldn't be going and spending all your transfers on them. If you're going to pick one, I think Mbeumo is the one, ranked first down the left flank for chances conceded and crosses conceded. And he's on set pieces and things. So you've got more ways to points than some of the others. So Mbeumo would be the one I'd go for me. Next up, we have Newcastle, and yeah, Newcastle are really exciting. I was really worried about them with the whole Isaac thing going on behind the scenes, but they put up such a fight against Liverpool, despite not having Isaac, despite getting a man sent off, despite injuries, etc. So I think they could be really good. I like 𝐿𝐴𝐴. He's putting a lot of crosses into the box. And yeah, looks good for chances conceded down his left flank. So could be, again, a nice option there. Otherwise, I quite like Burn as well. Yeah, been doing really well, both defensively, but also, yeah, we know he loves like a header or something for a goal. So yeah, could be a nice shout as well. Then we have Chelsea. And I know people have been a bit mixed with Chelsea. Obviously, Palmer didn't do great and then was out. I actually took a -4 to bring in João Pedro, even though those people selling him last week. And I'm really glad I did because he got those 15 points, and it looks like him again. That is the standout option this week. So ranked second for chances conceded down the centre, and headers conceded ranked fifth. So I think João Pedro is a great option. I think he's a nice differential captain this week, actually, especially seeing this. Yeah, I like João Pedro, and I think if you haven't got him, why haven't you got him? Next up, we've got Forest, and it's a bit weird looking at this data because there's only the one bright green fixture here, and we've all been talking about how much West Ham had been terrible so far. So Wood's the standout from there, but it is interesting to note, obviously, that chances conceded down the centre and the left flank for Wood, 𝐿𝐴𝐴, and 𝐷oy, and 𝐴𝐴𝐴 are all sixth, so they're only just outside that green zone. I really like these assets. Wood, I think, is a definite for me. He might be my captain this week. I'm also really interested in 𝐷oy. He's got returns so far in both of the fixtures. I think 6 points, 9 points, or something like that. He's only 6 million. I like him as an option. And yeah, 𝐴𝐴𝐴's kind of been the surprise. He's not the one any of us went for. We all went for any of the other options in defence. But 𝐴𝐴𝐴's been the one that's actually done better from defensive contributions so far. And yeah, obviously it's his left flank that it looks like might be the best chance this week. Next up, we've got Spurs, who are on fire. Yeah, changing manager and a few different players and things seem to be doing really well there. They look like they want it. They look much more organised. I really like Spurs. I'm going triple Spurs on my wild card. Johnson is one that stands out particularly here, and again, he's been really consistent, looking really good. My only concern about him is the long-term effect of if they're going to bring anybody else in, will he keep his place? The transfer window isn't closed yet, so people need to remember that. But otherwise, I do like Johnson. And again, like we said before, left flank, chances conceded down the left flank for both Kudus and Porro is ranked 6th as well, so they're just outside that top 5 that we normally look at. So I think Kudus and Porro are both great shouts as well. Then we've got Bournemouth, and I think from the ones that stood out in green for me, it would be Evan-Neilson that I'd go for, consistent. He was unlucky not to get an assist last week for a Semenyo shot. Yeah, I think Semenyo and Evan-Neilson are my 2 Bournemouth players I'd look at, and obviously this week it's the centre that looks like it's got the most chances conceded. So Evan-Neilson, if you're looking for someone up front to replace somebody like a Watkins that people are fed up with, Evan-Neilson could be a nice shout. And then finally, we've got Everton, who seem to be looking a bit better now. They didn't look great in pre-season, but they've turned it around and looking much better. Wolves also look terrible. So yeah, we've got one of their attackers, either Barry or Beto, tricky there with minutes because they will share whoever starts. It's probably Barry to start, but whoever doesn't start will still take a decent chunk of minutes there. So I'd be more tempted personally to go with an Ndiaye, who got the goal last week. I think his link up with Grealish is really nice. I think Grealish has really added a lot to the team, and I'm considering going for Grealish on my wild card. I think he'll get those assists. It's nice seeing him being more attacking and just enjoying his football again. They didn't really have the chance to do it at City. So Ndiaye would be my choice there for obviously the crosses conceded down that left flank, I think.
Yeah. All right. I like your input about Grealish, to be honest. But anyway, just that audience, if you're looking for some of the players that are not green, that's because they are marked outside of the top 5 that we usually tend to mark green only. So yeah, so those who are 6 are still good, but it's just that they are beyond our marking, as Beth mentioned already. Just a clarification, because at the beginning of the season, people tend to forget a lot of things. So just a reminder. Right? Okay. Moving on to the next slide. Here it is, Beth.
Yeah, it terrifies me slightly seeing Salah ranked there again. I thought I might get away with it this week when they're playing Arsenal, as somebody that didn't go Salah or Haaland at the beginning of the season, and somebody who's not including either of them on their wild card. So that's not looking great. Seeing Salah ranked second. But I don't love the fixture this week. Arsenal, they have kept 2 clean sheets so far. But obviously Salah, we know Salah is Salah for a reason, and yeah, he can obviously do anything in any match. So yeah, it could be another return for him. And Van Dijk is interesting because while they haven't kept clean sheets, Van Dijk has scored quite a number of points from DEFCON, and obviously, yeah, it's a good chance that he gets a header in this game as well. So interesting. Probably not the week for me to be bringing in Liverpool players, though. I think their fixtures are much better next week. Interestingly, again, there's still 2 players, Gyökeres, Martinelli, Rice, that stand out here. Liverpool haven't been great defensively. I think Gyökeres is the one if you're going to go anywhere. Long term, I think he's going to be the one that has the highest percentage of goal involvement. I think they've been looking for that kind of forward player, and I think he will take penalties and things off your Sakas, etc. So I think Gyökeres is the one. Again, I'm not sure that I would be going there this week with the Liverpool Arsenal fixture. It would just end 0-0. But interesting to know he could get that chance from a header. Next up, we've got Aston Villa, and I've sold Rodgers. It's one of the reasons I've wildcarded, as I was fed up of seeing him and Watkins and Konsa in my team, but it's Rodgers that's standing out here, and I think he would have been the one I would have kept if I was keeping any of them. Yeah, good for chances conceded down the right flank and crosses conceded down the right flank. So Rodgers is your most likely to get a goal or an assist this week for Villa. For me personally, maybe you might want to keep hold of them, but I wouldn't be suggesting buying because they generally have looked awful. So yeah, Rodgers could come good finally this week, but I wouldn't go out and buy. Just hold or play if you already own them. Then we've got Palace, and it's Mateta, I think, that's standing out there. Interestingly, Sarr, who I own, and Munoz don't look great on this. Chances conceded down the left is they're ranked 9th and crosses 12th. But I did hear a stat somewhere where Sarr has scored like in 4 of the last times playing Aston Villa. He likes to play them, so just something to note. And like I said, Villa have looked awful, so it's a bit surprising, actually. But yeah, I think Mateta could be a good shout this week. Then we've got Wolves, and I just wouldn't be going there, despite Arias Belgrade Larson and Huang are looking decent from the zonal. They've not looked great, and I think Strand Larson could potentially not play. People are thinking that he might be going to Newcastle. I think all that discussions mean he could be in between moves, or at least not starting, and he's their most attacking player. So don't go near Wolves despite this, sadly. Next up is Sunderland. I'm trying to look at players and be like, who are you? Don't know you. Sunderland would be, like, I've got a few, obviously I live in the northeast, so I've got quite a few friends that are Sunderland fans, and I think they should be proud of how they started. Ronaldo is not a bad shout. I think conceded, and crosses conceded down the right. Personally, for me, I don't love going for those promoted teams for a reason. If you can afford elsewhere, but if you do want a really cheap option, I think Ronaldo could be the one. Then we've got Brentford, and again, Brentford are a bit weird. They didn't start off great, but then looked much better last week. So I think they're in a void for me. And finally, West Ham. We've already talked about the fact I'm wildcarding to get rid of all three of them. Nowhere near. Don't trust Paul Krug in that one. First for headed conceded for the Forest. No. Avoid, definitely, and sell.
All right, we'll reveal the secret for Bethany's decision, or Bethany's, the reason behind Bethany's decision to remove all the West Ham players. I think that's coming a little bit later, but just hold on, audience, before we touch upon that. But yeah, first up, the team of the week, and then we can reveal something that new that we are kind of experimenting. But yeah, over to you, Bethany.
Yeah, so I think we've covered quite a few of these players anyway from earlier. For me, the standouts, thinking about more long-term picks rather than just this 1 week that they look good, so that you can bring them in this week, but also know that they'd be safe to keep for a few weeks, so you wouldn't have to use transfers, etc., unless you're planning on wildcarding earlier. My favourites from this for more of a long-term pick would be João Pedro, Evan Nielsen, and Elanga. I think those would be my top three from this Zonal Weakness team of the week, because I think while they're good this week, I think they're also good going forward, and also good in a variety of different matches. I don't think they need just an easy match to do well. I think they can perform in any, whereas some of the others are more of a good 1 week punt.
Right. Okay, before I bring the next slide in, just want to let the audience know that, this season we are experimenting something with the Zonal Weakness, based on the fact that, we have taken the goals into consideration, and we are trying to evaluate as to how a team kind of concedes goals from which particular zone. Now, I know basic question people would say is like all the goals going in through the center anyway. But it's not just about the goals going in through the center. It's about, if you look at the SofaScore, you would see as to where the goals are really coming from. So I think that's what we're trying to evaluate and explore. And this is but the data is, again, very small sample size. We just have 2 game weeks, but here it is. This is the goals considered chart that we are preparing, and we will continue to update this throughout the season. And it's zonal wise, and you can clearly see it's marked home and away, but also the total number of goals and from which side the goals are considered. But I'll let Bethany do the ones that she thinks are the ones to discuss. So over to you, Bethany.
Yeah, so I think like we said, I've wildcarded to get rid of West Ham, and this is why. They're just shipping goals for fun and not really doing any of the scoring. So yeah, in two games they've so far conceded 8 goals overall. So whoever's playing them next, which is Forest, I definitely think you need to get as many players that can attack that as possible, because again, it could be a huge score. Similarly, Wolves. They've conceded 5 goals so far in 2 games. And I think Everton are up next for them. So again, Everton attackers, your Ndiaye, your Grealish, that kind of thing, could be really good. I think another one to point out, I'm not going to focus much on the right flank, left flank, home away at the moment, just because we've got such a small sample size that hard to look at that. But the other one that stood out for me is Liverpool. Obviously, lots of people went into the start of the season spending a lot of money on Frimpong, on 𝐁𝐞𝐭𝐡𝐚𝐬, on Van Dijk, etc. And yet they're ranked fifth worst for defence, which hasn't been terrible for Van Dijk because it means he's actually got a lot of defensive contributions. So I think he's on something ridiculous like 24 or something over the last two games, and he only needs a minimum of 10 each match to get 2 extra points. So, but it's whether that's worth it if he's not getting any clean sheets too. So obviously they're expensive defenders, Liverpool. So if they're not keeping the clean sheets and they're shipping 4 goals, do you want them? And they managed to ship 2 goals with only 10 men on the pitch against them. Again, worth noting. For me, I don't think they're worth it right now. See how the season goes on. But yeah, those are the things that stood out to me first.
Right. Okay. Then here is the final chart, because this is something that we'll be doing for all 20 teams, and we'll be revealing the all 20 teams goal conceded zonal wise chart anyway. But yeah, over to you with the second one.
Yep. Again, I think key things here are those 2 teams at the bottom, which is Spurs, probably very surprisingly to most of us, including Spurs fans. But Spurs and Arsenal are the only 2 teams that in the first 2 matches have managed to keep a clean sheet both times. So definitely invest in those 2 defences. I think a lot of us avoided Arsenal defence because their fixtures were tricky, but they've shown, as they have in previous seasons, that they can keep a clean sheet against anybody really. So which is why I think the Liverpool game might be tricky for Liverpool. But yeah, make sure you're invested in Arsenal and Spurs. But I also like those 5 in total, the bottom 5 or top 5, however you want to put them. So Palace, I think, have been shown really that they've been really good defensively. They've made it difficult, only shipping the 1 goal. Same with Everton, 1 goal, and Chelsea 1 goal. So I think make up your defence from those 5 teams, and you should be fairly strong going forward.
Right. Yeah, I think that's it. That's it for today then. Thanks, Bethany, for joining us. And of course, thanks for your comment regarding the new graphics. Appreciate it. I think a little bit of work went into it over the summer, trying to improve that. But yeah, and then at the same time, we're trying to bring in the new dimension with the goal considered zonal wise. I think that's very important as well. With once the data gets heavy, I think that indicates as to which side is really weak, zonal is really weak for a particular team. But anyway, thank you so much.
That would be really helpful.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But yeah, thank you so much. And it's been glad to have you back. And thank you so much again for joining for the 3rd straight season. And yeah, long season ahead. And I hope your arrows are green and your wildcard is a success.
Thank you.
But until then, audience, do follow and give a like if you like it. And of course, subscribe and press the bell notification. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.